When she said it, she smiled. Not the kind of smile that belongs to someone breaking a heart. It was rehearsed, bright, controlled. "I'm changing my last name," she said, sliding the papers across the table. "I'm moving in with a real man." Her voice was clean, no tremor, no hesitation. Mine wasn't either. I looked at her signature, Elena Blake, the last time it would ever sit beside mine. I picked up the pen, signed, co-signed, dated it. The silence between us wasn't grief. It was anatomy. A body losing blood, the heart still beating out of habit. She stood, adjusted her blouse, and said, "You're taking this well." I said nothing. She didn't notice the file beneath my hand, didn't notice that the legal name transfer required corporate authorization, didn't notice that I had changed one clause before she arrived. When the door shut behind her, I let the air settle. It was done, but it wasn't over. A week before, I had walked in on her call, her voice low, smooth, playful. "He thinks he's the reason I'm keeping the name. I'll fix that soon. I want yours." I froze at the doorframe, unseen. The words "I want yours" hit differently when you've built a legacy on the weight of your own. The Blakes built everything from dust: land, company, influence. Her father liked to remind me of that every family dinner. "You're fortunate," he'd say, "to carry our name now." He was right, until she decided I wasn't enough to carry it forward. That night, she didn't look guilty. She looked free. I watched her hum as she packed small things in silence, like she was erasing me with rhythm. Every time she moved through the house, it was like she was leaving fingerprints of someone else's scent, someone else's shadow. When she said she was changing her name, I didn't ask who the real man was. I didn't need to. There's a certain calm that comes when love dies correctly. Clean, clinical, quiet. I started reading legal documents differently after that, not as a husband, as an architect dismantling his own structure, one brick at a time. The Blake family trust was old, full of protective clauses and bloodline restrictions. Inheritance, naming rights, corporate signatures, all tied to that surname. It was pride wrapped in bureaucracy, and that's what made it vulnerable. I called the family lawyer, pretending to finalize Elena's transfer out of joint holdings. I added one sentence: "All rights to the Blake name and legacy shall be void upon voluntary renunciation by any bearer, unless reinstated by the legal patriarch of the lineage, her father. The same man who toasted at our wedding. To the Blakes, may the name live forever." I made sure the document went through. She co-signed it without reading. Love had made her careless once. Ego did the rest. When I handed over the signed papers, she didn't even look, just smiled that same rehearsed smile. I watched her walk away, confident, radiant, convinced she'd traded up. And in her wake, I saw the quiet shape of her fall already forming. 7 days later, the door banged open. Her father, Harold Blake, stood in the doorway, ashen, hands trembling, holding the same papers I had sent for processing. "Elena," he rasped, voice cracking through years of arrogance. What have you done?" She blinked, confused, turning from the mirror where she was applying lipstick. "What's this about?" she asked, almost annoyed. The name," he stammered, "the family name, our legal rights, our holdings, the trusts, everything's—" He choked on the words. "You voided the Blake name. It's gone." Her smile collapsed. "What do you mean, gone?" "What's this about?" she asked, almost annoyed. "The name," he stammered. "The family name, our legal rights, our holdings, the trusts." He choked on the words. "You voided the Blake name. It's gone." Her smile collapsed. "What do you mean, gone?" I stepped in quietly from the hall. She froze when she saw me. I wasn't supposed to be there. I took the papers from her father's hand, tapped the signature at the bottom. "You signed the renunciation clause yourself," I said softly. "It was voluntary, legally binding." She stared, uncomprehending. You tricked me?" "No," I said. "You were too busy proving you'd found a real man." Her father slumped into the chair, staring at his daughter like she was a stranger. For a long time, no one spoke, only the sound of her breath breaking into small, panicked pieces. I walked to the window, sunlight glinting off the certificate in my hand. "The family name," I said quietly, "is now dormant. Every business asset linked to it, frozen. Every property under it, held." Her father looked at me like a man realizing the cost of arrogance. Elena looked like she'd swallowed fire. "Fix it," she whispered, stepping closer. "You can fix it, can't you?" I met her eyes. "No. I just made sure only a real Blake could." She lunged forward, desperate. "You're still a Blake." "Not anymore," I said. "You changed that when you left." She sank to the floor. Her father's voice was a ghost now, echoing in the room. "My God, Elena, what have you done?" I placed the file on the table, calm as if ending a meeting. "Consider this the real divorce." Then I walked past them both, her crying, him staring, and left the house that had once been ours. The silence followed me out. Outside, the air felt cleaner. Not because justice had been served, because noise had stopped. I had learned something simple. Love isn't destroyed by betrayal. It's eroded by arrogance. She thought the name made her powerful. She forgot who wrote it beside hers. By the time she realized, it wasn't revenge anymore. It was administration. I didn't look back when I reached the car. The reflection in the mirror wasn't a man grieving. It was a man who'd finished something. Some names you inherit, others you earn, and some you take with you when you walk away. I never lost mine.